Hey, hello, good morning, Sandra, and good morning, All Plans Global family. It's Renee Liao here, Lifestyle Director for Live from Atlanta. And of course, if you don't mind, could you also make me a co-host, Sandra, please? That'd be fantastic. And we'll get started pretty shortly. Okay, I'm not sure what happened to my camera.
Did it work, Renee? I think I made you
Yeah, you may
co-host.
be panelist, just not co-host.
Okay, from panelist, how do I make you co-host? Because I don't have that option.
You just click on my name again, and you'll see the option to
Okay,
assign as co-host this time.
got it. Thank you. You had to be switched over first to panelist, but the first time it.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
got it. Thank you. So.
You know what? My
Renee?
video is not starting. I'm going to restart my computer and come back on again. So hopefully you can see my video. Do you see me?
I do not see you, Renee.
That's so strange. Okay, let me just restart quickly. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hello, everyone. May this. Michael, nice to see you again. Always there, bright and early, like me. Thank you. You should be my team partner, my co-host. Wayne, hello. Everyone. Charmaine, Jonathan. Come on in, everybody. Sherry, yay. We're gonna give Renee a few minutes to allow his computer reset, camera reset, because we do want to see his face on this call today. So he is in Atlanta right now, live, and giving us an hour or plus this morning for this training. So we're going to give him a few more minutes. That will allow more people to pop in. We're all here. We're here, just waiting for my partner panelists to join back on. Ronan, Tim, Ramatu, Marlene, Kelly. Nice to see everyone this morning. Hello. Dominica, wow. Charlene. Hi, Renee.
I'm back. There we go. Finally.
Wow, lovely, amazing. Okay. Oh. Okay. Looks like you're on. Camera reset, working. We see your lovely face.
It's got to, let me just reset this projector. It's not showing the, I'll be 1 second.
Yes, absolutely. We'll give it another minute, guys. Hi, Ronan. Thanks for your message. Ramatu, thank you for your message. From Dominican, a lot of people popping in now. Pop, 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 one after the other. I love it, love it, love it. Ottawa, yes. Oh, you're muted, Renee?
All right, yeah, let's get started. Good morning,
Perfect.
Sandra.
Okay, amazing, amazing. Okay. There we go. Give me just one sec here. Okay. Hi, everyone. We're going to start. It's 10:03 already. So my name is Sandra Bedard. I am your host today. I have the pleasure to be hosting our presenter, Renee Liao. I've launched my business in 2015, July, 8 years ago this month. And I love it. I absolutely love this company. As much as I would love to tell you more about my own story, I don't want to take your excitement away. So I'm going to do something and present you our fabulous Renee Liao, top leader, top earner of this company. Let me just pop in this screen first of all, first and foremost for you. Give me 1 second here. And there you go. And here we go, Renee Liao. Before we start, or I let Renee start, let me just tell you a few things about this man. Renee Liao is a lifestyle director for. He's a graduate from University of Toronto in software engineering, and he's worked for IBM, TELUS, where he was earning $80,000 a year salary. He then joined Opulence Global in 2007, and now he is the company's youngest millionaire and a lifestyle director for, who qualified for the luxury car program and drives a prepaid luxury car from the company, a Tesla P90D worth $200,000. Wow, I just want a car of the year. He has reached $100,000 a month in earnings, and more shockingly, with only 7,000 people in his organization. Says a lot about our company, right? His team is now over 24,000 people in over 110 countries around the world. He's a happily married man. Well, with a $40,000 Fairy Mosh 21-carat ring. How could Heidi say no, right? Now, moving forward, two lovely young boys, Rex and Leon. They enjoy traveling around the world. Beautiful family. He just made a recent purchase, building his custom home of $5 million. He is here to support us and train us all the time. Renee is a founding member and shareholder and sits on the company's CEO advisory board. He's also he's also won twice the highest award of the company, the President's Cup. What an honor it is to host this man. Renee is such a likable and trustworthy person. Who else better suited this morning but to give us this training, which the topic is like and trust today. So Renee, to you, take it away, my dear.
Okay, thank you so much, and a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the Opulence Global family. Live here in Atlanta, and actually we have people still filling in the rooms here. Say good morning, Atlanta team.
Good morning.
All right, so very interesting time because it's actually my first time coming to a place where we had two distinct groups of cultures. We had basically the Asian group and the Somalian group, right? So I think the Asian Somalians are taking over the world right now. and actually, so we actually have Henry Shong outside, I'm meeting up with a lot of the Chinese speakers who actually only speak Chinese, and we do have the English speaker people in this room here today. But again, diving right into this, today's topic, of course, is a very important topic, which is, as Sandra mentioned, how to sell retail, how to sell products, and also a like and trust. So quick question for all of you on the call, of course, the people here. What's more important for you at first? Do you think it's to try to recruit someone into the business, or should we be focusing on selling products first? Question, right? So do you think that it's more important to recruit someone into the business, or should we be focusing on maybe just selling products at first?
I like selling the product
Okay, right. So you like to sell the products, right? And why is that?
because I like to talk face to face
Okay,
and engage them. And when I see them, a lot of people, I just one year I have to sell the product in my class,
okay,
and then after that I have the pro and the nice. I was making a lot of money. I have education. I know
Good.
people together. It's more easy.
good. Okay, yeah. So one feedback was that they like to sell products first, see face to face, get to meet and mingle with people. Very good. I see in the chat box here that someone said quick profits, right? Someone said to do both. And so one thing that I've always felt, at least, and again, I think we're all different. Some of us might have different backgrounds, and how we know people is also different, right? And some people might be in a place where they can talk to someone and say, hey, I have this great business for you. And their friend will say, great, sign me up. I mean, but in reality, I saw that happening a lot in Minnesota, where people would just say, sister, I have this new business. And she's like, great, where do I pay? But again, that doesn't happen very, very often, right? It's very unlikely that happens. And so in my experience, I actually like to prefer to start by just focusing on the products. If you sometimes focus on selling the business too much, I've got the experience where someone gets a bit turned off because they weren't looking for a business, or they might think of it as one of those things, right? Those recruiting things or pyramid scams, right? Something silly like that. And even if I were to promote a business, for me to promote a business for you to join, right? Don't you have to learn about what the product is that I'm selling?
Yes.
Or the service? Yeah. So even if I want to show you the business on how to make money, I still have to talk about the products. So in short, I always prefer to start by talking about the products first. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen in people do is they have a customer who's buying products from you all the time. Every day, every week, every month, they're buying a few bottles, and you're making great retail profits, right? Yesterday, we talked about here the price of your bottles, and you should be making at least $30 to $40 US per bottle. And let's say you're selling 10 bottles per month. That's $300, $400 of profit, cash profit you're making every month. And then suddenly you try to convert this person into a business person, and they weren't even looking for a business. Or maybe you got them in, and all they wanted to do was buy the products. And so now you have your retail customer that you're making money with, and suddenly they're just buying wholesale. Which one makes you more money, selling retail or them buying wholesale the bottles? Selling retail, because selling your customer buying from you wholesale, what you're earning is just a percentage of the CV, and the CV is a percentage of the PV, correct? So it makes more sense to sell at first. So again, to me, the question is, when's the best time that you want to perhaps show someone the business? Or how do you judge when to show someone the business versus selling products?
Like what I think is like you have to see what people need. If you talk to them first, if they really want to prepare their house, then sell the product first.
Yeah.
Then but if somebody like Henry, he's really looking for product for his business, then selling the business.
Very good.
So you have to see people's needs, then decide decide which route to
Right.
go.
So again, the answer was we have to see what are the needs of people. And the only way to find out what people need is we have to talk to them.
Yes.
We have to build like and trust, which is the main topic for today, and find out, is this person actually looking for a business, right? Or are they hungry for money, right? And so I want to start off my morning with that really important thought, because I find that, of course, sometimes we get really excited. We want to build a huge team because we know that, people with big teams can make a lot of residual income. But don't forget, selling bottles to me is almost like a form of residual income. If you have like 100 VIP customers who are ordering every month on their Smart Buy, hundreds of bottles every single month, that's also a form of residual income, right? You're not working for it. It's not like the team commissions where your team buys products and then suddenly you get a percentage of the CV. But it's the same thing, because if every single month you have 100 VIPs ordering one bottle each, that's 100 bottles being bought, you're still making that money every single month without doing anything, right? Okay, so now in my trainings, I like to be very practical. I feel like I can only teach you what I do on like a daily basis, because I know that it works. So I don't really kind of teach from theory. I want to teach you from what I've actually experienced, all right? And so in terms of selling products, there's many different avenues. You can try to do social media. What else? So the social media, you can try to sell on social media. What are some other ways you can try to sell products? Networking events, yeah. Maybe having a booth at a trade show.
Yeah.
Trade shows are my favorite because you literally sit there for like 8 hours and people are coming to you for 8 hours a day. They're coming to you, right? Okay. And we talk about some techniques and some strategies on how to sell really effective at trade shows. What else? How else can we sell retail? See what people say here online. Okay. How else can we sell retail, team? We have trade shows, we have social media. What's the most obvious one? Friends, family, or in person, right? Selling face to face.
Yeah.
Right? One-on-one. And
Making the video.
yes, so again, we have someone here in the Chinese team who's very, very effective on making videos that they blast out on their WeChat, I guess it is. I think now, even WeChat has channels as well too, and they get customers from that as well, all right? So, let's start with the one that I do a lot of all the time, which is just selling in person. Okay, because selling in person to me is like really fast money.
Yeah.
I have the product in my trunk or in my bag, I sell a product and I get paid right away, right?
Yeah.
So when I like to sell products in person, I always break down, there's two kind of scenarios in which you're going to sell products, okay? One scenario is where you are basically having a lot of time with your person. You have a lot of time. The other scenario is where you don't have a lot of time. So what do I mean by that? You have a lot of time versus you don't have a lot of time. So if I'm seeing someone, what's the difference between me seeing someone and having a lot of time with them versus not having a lot of time? Right, yeah. Yeah. What I mean is, do I have a lot of time to talk to the person that's in front of me? Or do I have not a lot of time? So for example, if I'm going to a drive-through, do I have a lot of time to talk to the person? No. What are some other scenarios where I won't have a lot of time?
Like table, dinner table, like the Martin birthday party.
Okay, well, actually, so birthday parties, I think you have actually more time.
Yeah, birthday party, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. We sit down there
Yeah.
2-3 hours.
So but my question is, what scenarios do you have not a lot of time?
Not a lot.
Yeah. So
Picking up pizza.
grabbing food, buying a coffee, maybe going to the bank for a little bit, right? And my question is, do you take advantage of these scenarios? Everyone on this call at some point in time is buying groceries, right? Or you're buying coffee, or you're buying dinner. My question is, are you taking advantage of the people you're meeting in these scenarios? How many of you are? Okay, maybe 5% of the room is doing this, right? But again, why wouldn't you? And so maybe it's because you're not sure how to do it. So I'm gonna share with you the best way to constantly have prospects. Okay, so the other scenario is where you have a lot of time. That's where it's the sit down at a dinner, a barbecue, a gathering, a networking event. You have a lot of time to be with some, right? So there's a few things that you got to have, especially if you're prospecting someone with not a lot of time. What are some of the key tools you got to have when you want to prospect and you don't have a lot of time? Yeah, the brochure. You must have this, right? How many of you carry this at all times? How many of you carry this at all times? Okay. Now for 100 of these, it's like what, $30? Okay, cost of printing. And what should be your goal with 100 of these pieces of beautiful brochures? What should be your goal? To get them out as fast as possible, right? And I can assure you, if you follow today's training and you hand out 100 of these brochures, you will at the very least sell one bottle. And that one bottle, of course, will make you more than $30 to pay for the 100 pack. But most likely you'll sell 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 bottles, right? So let's go through this. How would you go, let's say I'm on a drive-through and I'm seeing someone, paying for my thing, paying for it. How would you give this to the person? Do you say, you just like throw it at them and you slap them with it? I don't know. Okay. What's the best way to give this to them? Okay, I'm not sure. So you're carrying an English brochure, right? Okay. So here's what I do. Usually I find that what's the best way of having a conversation, to start a conversation? So Cece, what's the best way to start a conversation, do you think, when you see someone? You say hi. Say hi first, right? Say hello. I find that smiling helps. So you want to smile. Because sometimes what happens is we're so thinking about trying to sell something that we get so serious that our face is like angry. Because you're so determined to do something. And then you're like, hi. And then you're going to scare the person, right? Okay, so we got to be relaxed. We got to be relaxed. And the reason why we got to be relaxed is because it all starts from our mindset. So let me actually back up here, right? In this business, question for you guys. Is your mindset important when you go out and you want to go and sell stuff? Is it? Okay. Why is your mindset important?
Because you want to achieve what you do.
Okay. Yes. What if your mindset is, I just want to make money. If that's your mindset, what happens when you go to meetings? Or you go prospect someone, what happens to you? Do you
Not
think-
about the money, but you know what about getting more client, more important information you can pass it on. But
Do you
if
think-
focusing just making money,
Uh-huh.
I think with that person gonna fail a lot.
Do you think people can smell you?
Oh, yeah.
Can smell people who just want to make money? Yeah. Have you ever been approached by someone that this person, all they want from me is to, pay something, right? Do you feel good about that? You don't like that either, right?
Yeah.
So that's why our mindset is very important. If your mindset is, I'm here to make money from CC, from Dr. Zhang, from all you people, you're going to be very close and defensive, right? So to me, before when you wake up in the morning, there's 3 things I always do, and I still do to this day for the last, like, I don't know, 15 years in this business, right? And here are the 3 things. Number 1, in the morning, the second I wake up, the first thing I do is I give what? Give thanks. Give thanks for being alive today. I find sometimes we get so caught up in the everyday stresses of life that we forget to be grateful for the fact that we're actually alive, kicking, breathing, right? And we can enjoy time with our families, right? And what happens for you with your mind when you wake up giving thanks in the morning?
It's like happy, relaxed.
Yeah, you're positive, right? You're starting to very positive, right? The second thing I do to myself is I tell myself, today will be the what? The best day ever. It's called positive affirmation, right? I find that for a lot of people who are very emotional, like up and down. Who knows someone here who's very emotional? One day up, one day down. One day up, one day down. Do you like being around those people?
Sometimes.
When they're up, yeah. Right? And when they're down, no, right? And if you're around them all the time, you're going to see all the ups and all the downs, right? So that's why I think for a lot of people, it's good to practice positive affirmation of a positive mindset. So every morning I tell myself, today will be the best day ever. Okay. Number 3, the third thing that I do. I'm telling you guys, this stuff here is very important before you go out and talk to people. It's very important. So the third thing is that I do every single day is I ask myself a question. I think Ifra knows what that question is, but what's that question I ask myself every single day? Question is, who can I help? Who can? That's Henry. Yes, I'm not surprised that Henry and people like Ifra and Batoon and Ayun and Cece and Yuan Yuan and Dr. Zhang, I'm pretty sure every single morning they're thinking, who can I help today? Do you think that only people who sell health products ask that question? Do you think people who sell insurance ask that question themselves? Yeah. How about people that sell real estate? Do they ask that question? Of course. Who can I help today find their house? How about someone working at Walmart? They might ask that question. They might not be too positive because they hate their job, but they're probably trying to help someone still, right? My point is every single person who is in any kind of a job, business, especially in business, you got to ask yourself that question, who can I help today? Right? People like Ifra Henry who travel from Toronto, and maybe have leaders here from Minnesota who travel down here, right? They could have just stayed home and be relaxing in the morning and counting their CV and their paychecks, but they came all the way here to help and to expand their own business, right? So I think these 3 things are very important, especially before you go out to go and prospect someone. If you're going to talk to someone. Again, you can feel that vibe, right? You know, we go to the stores. Let's say you want to buy a pair of shoes. Or you're just browsing, you're just window shopping. And immediately a salesperson, they see you in the store. And they start to walk over towards you, right? You know they're coming for you, right? And how do you feel sometimes? You're like, oh, please don't talk to me, right? And so people can get that vibe. So I think it's very important that you lead with that mindset. And here's the other reason why. If you go out there and you're trying to share the product, now I didn't say the word sell, right? What did I say? Share. So some of us need to correct our daily vocabulary and stop using the word sell. Change that word to share. Instantly, when you convert that word in your dictionary from sell to share, the pressure's off. Do you feel it? If I'm trying to sell you something, I feel pressure, at least for me. But if I change that word to I want to share with you something, pressure's off. I have no pressure. And it feels like I just want to basically help you. Selling is attached to money. Yes, attached to a dollar sign. Whereas sharing is equivalent to love, heart. Huge difference, right? When you're sharing, you're trying to sincerely help someone else. You're trying to share, right? So again, it's very important when you go out there because, again, if you were to share with someone the product, and then they say, I'm not interested, or screw that, I don't believe that product, go away. Do you feel, like, how would you feel then? How would you feel? Again, if you're trying to sell something to someone and you got that response, no, get away from me, I don't want it, not interested, you might feel a bit more personally attacked, right? You might feel bad. Oh, I didn't do, I couldn't sell a bottle, I'm feeling down now, right? You get down. But if all you were trying to do was share with someone something, and they said, no, I don't want it, you don't really care as much. Does that make sense? You don't, so again, the key thing is don't get attached. And I believe that if your mindset is, how can I go and help someone? And they say, no, I don't feel bad for me. Who do I feel bad for? Yeah. If I see someone limping around, I see a huge gout on his leg, maybe his skin's busted from diabetes and their hair is falling out, they're overweight, and they're walking slowly, they're full of body pain. And I have the real good intention of sharing from love a product to help them. And they say no to me. I don't feel bad for me. Who do I feel bad for? Yeah, right. But again, if I was thinking about making money because I want to sell, and they say no, I start to feel bad because I had this wrong goal to begin with. Does that make sense? Yes. Right. So every single morning, I hope all of you, every morning you wake up in the morning and you do these three things. Give thanks for waking up this morning. Number two, confirm today will be the best day ever. And number three, who can I help today? And I can tell the people who do it because when I see them prospecting, talking to people, I can see it on their faces. Right? Are they stressed about trying to make money or are they just generally trying to help other people? Okay, so I felt it was important to break off and talk about the mindset because again, mindset is everything. And here's the other real funny thing, right? Do you guys share already? And some people say, oh, I can't sell this product. Or I can't share this product. But my question is, do you share already? Something else. Do we? What do we share? I mean, forget about the business. Do you share other stuff on a daily basis?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. You see a good sale, you share it. What else what else might you share? A nice restaurant, good food. Yeah, right. I mean, maybe you had a headache and say, you want to share Advil or Tylenol. You're still sharing. Maybe you found this really great tea, it's really good coffee. Hey, go check this amazing coffee. So do we share every day already?
Yeah.
So we share every day already, yes?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between sharing what you're sharing already versus sharing Fountain of Life, for example? What's the difference? There is no difference. Oh, but where do I buy it from? So let's say someone has an issue and you share this really amazing thing and they ask you, well, where can I buy it from? Usually you might say, I don't know, go to the restaurant or go look on Amazon or go buy at this store, right? Versus for us, what might you say? Well, you can buy it from me. Is that what you should say? You can buy it from me?
Depends.
Depends.
Yeah.
Because if you say you can buy it from me, that person might be like, wait a minute, you're selling this now? Now it's changed the conversation, right? So let me share with you my trick that I've been using for many, many years, and it works every single time. If someone were to ask me, oh, well, where can I buy this from? I'm gonna give you a true story. I was my kids' tennis, we're playing tennis, and where they train on the downstairs, they have a gym. They have a gym downstairs, okay? And in this gym, I saw one of the other kids' dads. After he was walking on the treadmill, he was on this bench massaging his knee. He's in pain, right? He's in pain. So again, out of love and care, I just asked him. I said, "Oh, are you okay? Like you're just rubbing your knee?" He said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm having this issue. The pains won't go away." I said, "Oh, by the way," and take note here of what I'm doing, right? I said, "Oh, by the way, I know someone else, actually my dad, who also had body pains, and he tried this product, and the pain went away." So what's the first thing I did just now?
You use your dad.
Ah,
Yeah, that's a third.
I use a personal experience, or more importantly, I use a third party story. I guarantee you, if you do this, it will work. If you were to say, I had knee pain and I tried this product and it went away, it might work, but it's not the same effect for some reason because they're thinking you might be involved somehow. So always give a third party testimonial. Then he said, but notice, did I mention the product just now? I just said my dad tried this product and his pain went away. Why would I do that?
Because the person is gonna change to say, oh, wow, what is that? The
Mhm.
daddy is.
Yeah.
He wanted more information.
Write this down. In approaching, in trying to sell, curiosity is your best friend. Curiosity. If there's one thing you could be good at, and it's just to create curiosity, my goodness, you will see your sales flying. You will see your sales flying. So I told him my dad had this problem, tried this product, his pain went away. Instantly, his first question was, what is the product? I said, well, the product is called the Fountain of Life. Even without having to explain the product, he goes to me, where can I get a bottle? This is like less than 1 minute conversation. He goes, well, where can I buy the bottle? I could have said, well, I have it in my trunk. I sell it from my trunk. Can you buy it from me? No, I didn't say that. Very important. What I said was, well, actually, I just bought in bulk more for my dad. And I also bought some for myself because I really enjoyed it too. If you want, you can actually buy it from me because it's cheaper. Because someone in Toronto posted a Fountain of Life on Walmart for $130. I love them. Thank you. Thank you for posting it on Walmart. It's the biggest platform at such a high price. I told them, if you look at Walmart, it's $130. For me, it's $90. He says, wow, okay. He says, can I buy one from you? Like it's EMT. I said, sure. He goes, but he told me, you know what? I'm going to ask my wife to, can you send my wife, because we have a group chat with tennis parents, send her a message with your email. So then I went upstairs, went to the car, got a bottle, gave it to him, went up to the wife, and her name's Alexandra, his name was Jim. And I was just like, what's this? Renee, what's this? This email for? This money for? I said, oh, me and Jim were doing a drug deal. Kind of make a joke out of it, right? Okay, we're doing a drug deal, right? Okay. And then at that point in time, Alexandra had been suffering from MS, multiple sclerosis, where it's like a degeneration of the back spine. And eventually, if you don't take care of it, you become immobilized, right? And I actually had tried to suggest to her before, the same script, the same product. But because she talked to Heidi more, Heidi actually helped me do a sale this time. Heidi goes to her, says, Alexandra, I really think you should try it. If you meet Heidi, she's not a salesperson, right? She doesn't do anything with my business at all. But she knows everything because she's always hearing me on the calls, driving to Niagara Falls and doing calls all the time, right? But I think because again, they had that like and trust, and because she doesn't view Heidi as someone who's trying to sell her a product, instantly Heidi goes, I think you should try this. But she goes, okay, where can I get it from? And so she goes, well, and she asked me, well, how many bottles did Jim buy? And she wants to buy another bottle. So like that, 2 bottles sold, right? Of course, she's since then she bought a lot more from me. But going back, so curiosity is our friend, okay? What's the other thing I did in my approach steps just now? I use a third party what? Yeah, so let's write this down in steps, right? And maybe you should write down the script. I think if you write down the script, you'll actually remember, correct? So first thing I did was give a third party story. Third party story. All right. Don't give your own. And we all have third party stories. Just look on Facebook. Those are all third party stories, every single one of them, right? Number 2 was I created curiosity by not mentioning what the name of the product was. Right? I said, oh, they tried this product and it really helped my dad. His pain went away. Right? So I'm creating curiosity. And then the third thing I did was, did I say that I'm the one selling it? No. What was my story?
You wanted and address it to just with your dad,
Yeah,
and if you need it, I can sell one from you. So
yeah. My story was that I bought more because it's so good for my dad in bulk.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper. So the whole thing is, I like to use a thing where I buy it in bulk, kind of like a group buy. We buy it in group. I bought it in bulk, for my dad. And if you want, you can just I buy it more for myself. I have it in my car or in my bag. If you want, you can just buy one off of me. Does that make sense? This is completely different than you saying, I sell it. If you want it, buy it from me. And guess what? Till this day, I have customers of mine who still don't know that I'm the one selling the bottle. To this day. To this day. 2018, this product came out. We're 2022. Over 5 years, I have customers who go, Renee, can I get a few more bottles from you? Can I get a few more bottles from you? They have no idea that I'm selling it. They think
selling from
they have no idea. They're not on social media. I don't have them on Facebook. They just buy from me. All right. Same thing. My kid's tennis coach walks in one day. His wrist is taped up, elbow taped up, knee taped up. I'm like, Tony, what's going on with you, bro? He goes, oh man, I just had this body pain because it's tennis, right? I go, by the way, the same thing. My dad had body pain. He tried this thing and boom, pain went away. Even I tried it. It's amazing. What's it called? Oh, it's called the Fountain of Life. Oh, bro, where can I get it? Well, in my car, give you one, right? So since then, but again, with Tony, here's the thing. He's a tennis coach, right? And he bills almost $110 per hour for a private lesson, which I thought he would keep most of it. But the tennis club keeps most of it. So of the $110 he billed, he kept $38. Yeah, kept $38. I was like, so I knew that if he learned that with Fountain of Life, selling one bottle, he could make $40 in a minute versus $38 working a whole hour, serving, hitting, body's breaking down. He would be interested, right? So of course, eventually he did launch as an LA. But again, even though I knew he would be interested in making money with this, I decided to focus on the product first, not the business. I take my time with people. 'Cause I don't mind. I love retail sales. I like cash money, you know? Okay. And so that's really one of the key things that I do when I'm focusing on sharing the product, right? Now, going back to our initial question, which was in going through a drive-through where you don't have a lot of time and you want to sell products, you got to have the brochures, right? So let's make sure we have all the things that we need in selling a product, right? So again, we're going to go out there, we're going to go talk to people, we're going to hand out brochures. What are the 3 things we should be prepared with? Number 1, you already told me, was the brochure. So brochure, you gotta have the brochure. Let's talk really quickly why again. You can be the best presenter in the world, know every little thing. You can be like a Henry, know everything about this product. You can verbalize it, but will your person remember anything when they go home? You can mention, well, this product here has 2 main ingredients, 7-hydroxymethylresinol, potassium acetate, 7-trimethylene glycol, blah, 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 lignins, right? Do you think the person remembers that stuff? No. So the reason why we want to use brochures, most importantly, is for a word that starts with D. Documentation. I love the D words, right? We have documentation. Documentation is key. What else is another word about D that's really good for building teams? Starts with D. Duplication. I cannot duplicate Henry. I cannot duplicate Ephraim. We're all different. And if I had to teach someone to say what Henry says, forget it. He's like a dictionary, encyclopedia of blah. Okay. If I had to duplicate what Ephraim says, I can't even, she's so smooth. She's like a smooth operator, right? I can't do that. But we can duplicate information that is in a form of a documentation. Duplication in a form of documentation, right? This is duplicatable. This you can teach your team how to do, right? Also, when you give this to your prospects and they go home, if you didn't give them this, it's out of mind, out of sight. But if you give them this and they go home with it, usually they put it on the table, or everyone goes home, you unload your bag, your wallet, your keys somewhere, right? They usually put it there. At least there's more chances of them looking at it again, right? Or maybe they did buy a bottle and they went home and the spouse says, "You're an idiot, it was a scam." If they don't have this, they can't show anything. If they have this, at the very least, they say, "Well, no, go look at this, read for yourself." That makes sense? Like, this is so vital. It's so important. And Henry, initially, we only had the English version. He found his own Chinese version. And he started to print out like thousands and thousands of copies, right? So if you speak Somali, is it right? Okay. Right? Print it out in Somali. If you have it in Chinese, print it out in Chinese. In Arabic, wow. I like sushi. I don't know how to make it in Japanese. But anyways, right? So anyway, the key thing is you gotta have the brochure for so many reasons. Okay. What else do you gotta have? Okay, let me just see if I'm having questions so far in the group chat. I'm just been talking up here. Yes, perfect. I love that. Okay, awesome. Next, yeah. So what's the second thing that we better be prepared with every single time we go out? Products. You gotta have the product with you. The worst feeling ever, the worst feeling is someone says to you, "Can I buy a bottle?" And you have to say, "I don't have one with me." Wow, that's instant cash you could have made, right? I made the mistake one time. I ran out of toothpaste. I was like, maybe I'll just wait another week for my toothpaste. Guess what happens? Talk to mom. She's like, I want to buy the toothpaste. I'm like, the rush to the office, emergency order. Now, luckily, I'm in Toronto. I can do that. But if you're out in Ottawa, even, or you better be prepared. Have stuff on stock, right? Okay. And what is the third thing that I always talk about? You gotta have when you go out there. So we gotta have brochures. We gotta have products. What else we gotta have? Jennifer, I know that Henry has all this stuff. Yes. Say it again. Stories. Same. Yeah. I'm writing because it's a lot shorter. I can't write big words. It's too much for me right now. Yeah. You gotta have stories. Henry, how many stories does he have on his phone?
1700. I don't know, so many.
His wife is like, I don't know, it's more than. So last night, we found out, Henry told us on his phone, he has over 3,000 different stories, all categorized.
On the way here, they just say, your iCloud full again, you paid when you have to upgrade more money.
You better do the upgrade. You better upgrade that.
Needed to pay more money to iCloud all the.
Yes. Actually, someone messaged me on WhatsApp just before I came, saying I lost my phone, I lost all my stories and testimonials. Team, we're in a business, right? We're in a business, yes. We have to put aside money for expenses, right? Your iCloud or any kind of cloud service is worth the money. Because in our line of business, our phone is one of our biggest assets. It's with us all the time, right? The one thing that you buy every year, the one thing that you use the most, more than anything else that you use, even your underwear, because you change underwears, is your phone. You don't change your phone. You use it for it's with you every single day. This is your money, right? So I told the person, why didn't you have iCloud? And I love that. The second Henry got notification, iCloud full, immediately he bought it. You know why? Because all his stories is his business. Yeah. And in fact, if you ever lose your phone with Apple or Android, having a big enough iCloud space, you buy a new phone, at least with Apples, right? You put your new phone and the old phone beside each other, it just copies. Or you just reload from your backup, right? But yeah, right. And by the way, in the future, everything is going to be on the cloud because they're finding ways to make it cheaper to store things online, right? You have different. I think Android has their own cloud service. Yeah. Mhm.
So I bought a new laptop and then you put my phone iCloud and you put my laptop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Literally,
My laptop.
yeah. When you have Android or iCloud, you just subscribe to the service, and anytime you have a new device, it just moves it over, right? So, but back to this, right? He has 3,000 different stories categorized, right? And do you think he stopped getting stories, Henry? No. Last night he's filming, sharing it, right? So on your phone, the one thing you guys start to do is to create your own albums.
I think 2 TV.
Oh, that's yes. So I have higher than that on mine, right? So yeah, 2 TB is great to start with. Okay. But question, how many of you have your stories categorized on your phones? Categorized. Okay. So did you know on your phone, if you go to your photo album, okay, there's a section called albums.
Yes.
You need to create an album for every different type of issue that can arise. So in my albums, the way I do my albums, I put FOL dash and then the problem. So yeah, actually we can do that today. We can share a lot of it locally. But look, I mean, if I do mine, for example, in my albums, I'm going to show you like what I have so far. I have FOL for psoriasis, CIPD, acid reflux, cyst, bloating, sciatica, PETS, bronchitis, prostate cancer, cataracts, colon cancer, tumor, encephalitis, shingles, gums and teeth, white blood cells, hives, inflammation, COVID, migraines, colon cancer, ovarian cancer, pus, like mucus pus, fatty liver, iodine test, pneumonia, bone marrow, hormonal balance, autism, bladder infection, multiple sclerosis, breast cancer, detoxing, liver cirrhosis, on and on and on. Okay, I have all these albums created. So why do you think it's good to have these albums created on your phone with different stories? Why? Why have albums? Why not just have one big FOL with a million stories inside? So I mean, why have albums versus having one album with all the stories in it? Yeah. If I meet someone like Cece today, and Cece says to me, I have neck pain or something, or body pain. I can search for pain. You can search your albums and find FOL pain and then send all those stories to them. Does that make sense? You know, so it's so important that you start to become organized in your business, right? You have to have your stories in what? Albums. Yes. The one thing about Henry is he's so coachable. I remember the very first time I trained him on having albums, he started doing it right away. He kept building into that collection, right? So now that we know what you gotta have every single time before you go out there, okay? We're going back to the initial topic, which was I'm going through a drive-through and I don't have a lot of time, but I want to give this to the person. Now I have the right mindset, right? How can I help this person? And truly, really, can you help the person who's working behind? Like, do you think we can offer something to the guy who's working at Starbucks or Tim Hortons or McDonald's? Do you think they love their job? Do you think the employee at the restaurant you ate last night that they love their job? No. They want to serve you food all day long. Do they really enjoy that? No. They're just trying to pay their bills, right?
Yes.
So we can help so many people. So when I go out there talking to people, I'm constantly thinking, how can I help this person? I'm not thinking about making money. I'm not thinking about, you know, I want to make $20 from you. I'm thinking, how can I help you make money? Now she's lucky because Henry just retired her, I think. Made so much money to allow her to quit her job, right? How many wives would like to be retired right now, right? Okay. How many husbands want to be retired? Okay. Wow, that's not sexist. Yes. To find a good husband, we must find ourselves, right? How strong, independent.
You need to retire your wife for a long time.
I'm so blessed I found her. I'm grateful. I give thanks. I found Heidi. Every day I wake up, how can I help Heidi today? Okay, well, the key, right? The key thing, of course, you know, right, is when I talk to someone right away, the only thing I'm thinking about is how can I get to know this person a bit more and how can I help this person? Do you do that every time you talk to somebody? Do you? I sure hope you do. You'll look completely different when you talk to someone. They'll feel from you just want to talk to them or you want to help them. It's a huge difference, right? So what I do is, as soon as I say hi, I say again, one of the best ways to have a conversation is give a compliment. Oh, you know, great day today. No, awesome day. Oh, I love your shirt. I love your hair. Or thank you for your service today. Can we do that? Give a quick compliment,
Yeah.
right? Right, wonderful day today. How's it going? Right, good to see you today. And then you say, oh, by the way, can I give you this? Write those words down, please. Can I give? Yeah, we're gonna go in order here, okay? In steps, right? First thing I did was I said what? I said hi with a smile. Can you say hi with a smile?
Yeah.
When I smile at you, instantly you smile back.
Yeah.
It's like human gestures, right? So instantly we're starting off the conversation in a good way, right? Okay. If I look angry at you, naturally you get what? Or you get, yeah, right?
Stay away from me.
Yeah, right? Okay. So you smile, hi, right? But it can't be a freaky, like a disgusting. No, it has to be a normal smile. Okay, okay. Number two is what? Okay. Number two thing I did was I gave what? Compliment. Compliment. Simple. Right? Great day today. I love what you're wearing. I love the colors. Yes, question?
So I said, hi, can I help, can I give you this today?
Well, I said hi, and then step two was give a compliment. Yeah, okay, great service today. I love what you're wearing. I wouldn't suggest to say you smell good.
No.
Probably not. No, yeah, not good, right? I just heard.
No, we'll just say, well, lucky. So
Yeah,
that's-
exactly. Yeah.
Well, I like your haircut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, things like you have beautiful eyes. I don't know. It can kind of lead into the wrong kind of conversation. So be more generic. Yeah, nice hair, nice clothes, nice day, great service, right? Thank you for your service, right? And the third thing was a question I just said, which was, can I give you this? Question, why would I ask them, can I give you this, instead of just throwing it into their lap?
Maybe something that don't really want it, please out. No.
No,
Permission.
Probably is, but it's, so you give people a chance to talk it back. Otherwise, you don't have a chance to.
Well, in terms of mannerisms, this is more polite
It's polite way.
that I ask you. And usually, if someone asks you, can I give you this? Usually they will say, sure, because you respected them enough to ask them. I hate people who, you go to your car in the parking lot and you see someone shove something in your windshield wiper, or the worst is in your door handles,
Yeah.
right? You feel like, you didn't even ask me, Luckily, the Tesla had no door handles. It's funny, yesterday I saw, but so the thing is, usually, I guess they're trying to be more nicer putting it in the door handle, so you'll actually pick it up.
Yeah.
And 'cause some people just literally will drive away, turn on their wipers and let it blow away, right? But it's funny that all these cars here, and every Tesla didn't have the thing stuck into your door handles. Anyways, yeah, just ask a question and you'll be amazed. They always say, okay. In fact, what do you think they actually say to you when you ask that question?
What is this?
They ask you, yeah, what is this? Oh yeah, what is it? Yeah, so now the question is, what do you say? It's a special extract from the Norwegian spruce tree, 700 medicinal potassium acetate. Right, so what should we say?
It depends on how much time you have.
Yes. Now, if they ask you that question, usually, even at the bank or a drive-through, if I know that there's people waiting behind me, I don't want to be rude. I'll say, you know what, just say, no, let me give you a shout. Let me give you a call. Right? And let me just and get the number right away. Well, other times, yeah, at the bank, literally, I was at the bank. I was like waiting in line. And some people, they take forever at the bank, right? I want to do this, I want to do that, right? So it was my turn at the bank, and I said, "Oh, can I give you this?" Do you think I really care about people behind me? No, because I was in line myself,
Yeah.
right? Now it's my turn. It's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay,
Take your
right?
time.
Yeah. What am I rushing? I was in line and there's Joe Blow, whatever, and taking their time, right? Yeah. And I'm trying to help someone here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help someone here. I'm trying to help someone here, right? So literally, I didn't really care what's happening behind me. Even at the Starbucks, I wait in line at Starbucks. Some people, I want this super frappuccino, double espresso, top it with some this dairy, that dairy. It's like a 5-minute order, right? I don't, so whatever. So when I'm in line, it's my turn, right? So the best way to answer that question is to use the brochure, right? So instantly I said, basically, all of the fruits and vegetables that you eat, they all have something in it that's really healthy for you. It's called lignans. I hope you're taking notes because you're going to do this afterwards, all right? So what is it? I said, well, basically all of the fruits and vegetables that you eat, seeds, coffee, wine, beer, they all contain what's called antioxidants from the plant, which are called lignans. Lignans are plant antioxidants. They're very good for you. But there's a scientist in Finland, basically, who came across the best source of lignans in the whole world. And that came from the Norwegian spruce tree, right? I'm pointing. So as I'm talking to somebody, I'm pointing. All the fruits and vegetables that you eat have the really amazing antioxidant from the plant. It's called lignans, plant antioxidants. But our scientists out that we know in Finland found the best source of lignin. It came from the Norwegian spruce tree, where taking 10 drops of this product is the same as having 1,800 cups of apples of lignans, or 50 cups of green tea, or 150 cups of onions, right? And you're like, wow. Now notice in my voice, how do I sound? How do I sound right now? Do I sound down and depressed? I sound excited. I sound good. Thank you. I like my voice too. Not really, but okay. But I sound excited, right? I'm excited. Please don't be like, well, we all eat fruits and vegetables. Has a thing called lignans, and the scientists in Finland, and right. Like, you gotta be excited about this, right? Makes sense? Okay, not over the board, but you guys sound enthusiastic, right? And then it's amazing. There's so many amazing benefits. And the lady at that time, I said, what helps with your heart health, defend against dementia. I'm just reading it. She goes, oh, it helps with dementia. Oh, my mom has dementia, she said. I said, well, it's really helpful for that. She goes, oh, well, how much is a bottle? I said, well, it's $90. She goes, well, can I buy one? I said, well, just happens I have some extra bottles in my trunk. And boom, I sold the bottle. Then I was at the bank. That was at TD Bank. But in Canada, every plaza has like all 5 major banks in the same plaza. So I had time to my next meeting. I was like, you know what? Let me go to RBC, where I have my other banking stuff with, and just go and do the same thing. I went to the RBC, and this time I said, oh, I want to talk to somebody, because I don't really have any bank card. I just have like some holdings. I said, can I talk to someone about my holdings? Okay, 1 second. They found some guy to come out, went into the back rooms, those back office rooms,
Yeah.
right? And I said, can you give me an update on what I have in holdings, blah, 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 blah. And then when I was going to leave, I said, oh, by the way, thank you for your time today. Can I give you this? He goes, oh, what is it? Well, all of the fruits and vegetables that we eat, right? Now, this time, I had more time. I'm sitting at the branch, right?
Yeah.
So I actually mentioned the whole story about the scientists and the tree, cut the tree down and the branch didn't die. You know that story?
Yeah.
Do you guys know that story about the scientist? Do you know how this came to be, Fountain of Life? Do you know the story, CC? Wow. So the story is the scientist who made this product in his home in Finland, his wife asked him to cut down the tree that was blocking the light into the kitchen. So when he cut the tree down and the branches off the tree, he noticed that the branch that was on the ground, it kept living days later, never died, even though it was being cut from the tree. Then he wrapped one up and put it in his freezer and left it there for many years. One day his wife was cleaning out the freezer and they found the broken branch. She's like, no, what is this thing? Do something with it. I'm gonna throw it away. When he opened the branches, the packaging, the broken end of the branch had grown itself a new layer. Even in the freezer, right? So it's a self-healing tree. And so of course, then he started to research. Yes. So that's why we're training. We're training, right? Have you learned some good stuff today? Right? Right? I mean, imagine if every one of your team members were here. How much information, how powerful will your team be going out there, right? Okay. So anyways, but one thing I do when I talk to people, because you just see them, right? You can't see, head to toe, right? And this gentleman, I could tell he was thinning his hair. So after I got to the stories, I said, yeah, so 10 drops is equivalent to all this. I said, oh, by the way, look at all the studies. It helps with hair. And hair is down here, the fourth one. He goes, really? I'm like, yeah. I tried it for myself too. I popped up on my phone. I search hair. Thank you. I search hair. And the very first 3 is mine. Show them my hair. He's like, wow. Like, how much is it? The $90. Said, and by the way, I just bought some more for my dad and for myself. It's even more expensive if you buy it online. If you want, you can buy one from me. Sold another bottle. You can do this all day long. So if you don't have a job, especially, right? I don't suggest to stay at home. Don't work from home. I know it's cool work from home. I think you should work anywhere else but home. Go to a coffee shop. If you're gonna work on your laptop, go do it at Starbucks. At least you'll talk to a few cashiers and people around you. Bring a whack load of brochures. You'd be surprised how many people, as long as you say hi, a smile, give a compliment, right? Maybe start up a conversation. But that's what I do in a situation where I don't have a lot of time. All I want to do is pass out as many of these as possible and build up my customer base. Is that good or great? Yes? Makes sense? Okay. Are we getting some inspiration, some motivation to go out there? Right? Mindset. So now let's talk about the other situation where we don't have a lot of time. We'll break at 12 when the call's gonna be done, all right, guys? So what do we do in situations where we don't have a lot, where we have more time? They're at a barbecue, networking events. Should we rush it and say, hey, can I give you this? No. Right? You have more time with them. So what should we do then? We should build like and trust. And so going to today's training, I'm going to use some slides here. Is this the one? 1 second here. Okay, we're going to talk about building like and trust here. Just going to open up my slides here. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Oh, Sandra, you have to enable me to share my screen. So maybe make me into a co-host or enable me to share my screen.
All right.
Thank you.
Give me just 1 sec. Let me go back to you.
Thank you.
allow. Okay, did that work?
Yep, perfect. Thank you so much. That works. Okay,
No problem.
become an expert. All right. Okay, minimize these screens here. Okay. So the importance, of course, of building like and trust. Now, we have already mentioned a lot of this before in this morning's training. I'm gonna skip forward here. Okay, important. Here we go. Building like and trust using form. So, first of all, what is like and trust? Anyone? What does it mean to build like and trust? What does it mean, folks, to build like and trust?
Like a friend.
Thank you. Yes, make a friend, right? Want to make a friend. So I'm getting a bit cold here. So, in other words, question, if someone doesn't like you, will they ever buy anything from you?
No.
Maybe they like you, like you're okay, but they don't trust you. It's weird, right? They might like you as a person, but I just don't trust you. Will they buy from you?
No.
So someone has to like us and trust us in order for them to have confidence to buy from us or to join a business with you. I find that, of course, sometimes in business, right? People will join someone that they like and trust, right? So we can build like and trust or get to know someone by using a technique called FORM. Okay, what is FORM? It's an acronym. F stands for what? Family and friends. O stands for occupation. R for recreation. And M for motivation. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to ask questions. We're going to ask questions about form. FORM. So I'm going to share with you the most questions that I like to ask. For form, family and friends. I suggest you write these questions down because I use them all the time. When I meet someone, one question I love to ask is, well, whereabouts are you from? Right? We never really know where someone's from anymore. Right? Not in this day and age. So a great conversation opener is ask someone, whereabouts are you from? Make sense? And they might say what? China, Somalia, India, Africa, doesn't matter. But every question that we ask has a purpose. If I know that Cece's from China, how is that important information for me? So if I know that you're from China, why is that important information for me?
Know your culture, what you consider more value, what you class, how
Okay.
you know how to do the next step of relationship.
Okay, that helps you. But more importantly, for me, if I know that she's from China, I know that there's a possibility we can expand this business in China. If I know that if it's from Somalia, no, I know maybe there's a chance we build the business into Somalia. Does that make sense? Right? That's why we ask these questions, right? Another question I love to ask, hope you write this down, is, well, what brought you here? Right? What brought you here? A question for you guys. Why do you think most people move countries? Why do people move countries? Because they want to go on holidays? Why did you come to the USA? Civil War? Or you want a better life, a better opportunity? Most people move around the world because they want to find a better opportunity, a better life. Isn't that important information? We can help them have a better life by having this business, correct? Right? So whereabouts are you from? What brought you here? I like to ask, well, is your family here with you? Another question I love to ask people, was your family here with you? Why is that important to know? If I find out that CC's family is still back in China, it means, hey, we have a really good chance that we might build this back into China.
Yeah,
Yeah, because her family's still there.
yeah.
See, every question that we ask, we can gather really important information. Okay. You know, so family and friends. The second question is, well, occupation, right? There's three questions I always love to ask. First question is, what do you do for a living? Ask them, what do you do for a living? It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter. The second question I always ask is, well, how long have you been doing that for? So first question, what do you do for a living? Second question, well, for how long have you been doing that for? And the third question is the good question. It's kind of like a question comment. Oh, you must love what you're doing. So again, question one, what do you do for a living? Question number two, well, for how long have you been doing that for? And question number three, oh, you must love what you're doing. They could say, I've been working there for 2 months or 2 years, 20 years. Oh, you must love what you're doing. And then usually they say, well, no, it's all right. Not really.
Pay the bills.
Yeah, just paying the bills, right? Again, we have now gathered more important information that perhaps they don't really like what they're doing. Right? And at some point in time later on, we can bring up the fact that we might, we have a really good opportunity for you to do something else that you might actually enjoy. Okay. Now, that one kind of ties into our recreation. Yeah, I don't really enjoy what I'm doing. Well, what would you rather be doing? Recreation, if your hobbies, what would you rather be doing? Traveling, right? What are some of your hobbies? Hobbies, anyone? Making money? Okay, thank you.
I like to
Right.
travel.
Travel, yes, right? You like to travel? Would you love to travel? Okay, like what? Badminton, swimming, travel.
Anything.
Good, right? Are you good at badminton? Oh, wow. Okay. Ping pong, racket sports, okay. By the way, dancing, okay. By the way, if you actually like hobbies, like badminton or ping pong, go and join a club. Why? Why am I telling you to go join a club?
Because we need a lot.
You'll meet a lot of people. And every few months, join a different club.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not enjoy what you're doing and meet new people and expand your business at the same time? The problem is some people get into a comfort zone. Same club, same people all the time. Don't get comfortable. Change a new club. Try a new group. Right? You're getting exercise. You're enjoying your hobby. You're expanding your network. And you're also making more money. Right? Maybe you want to learn golf. Go join a golf group. Right? Get out there. Right? COVID's over. We're back to normal. Thankfully. All right. So again, R is recreation, right? And M is for motivation, right? What motivates them in life? For some people, it's money. Okay. So usually I find that when you talked about own occupation, because you ask them, do you love what you're doing? And they're like, no, well, no, not really. It kind of leads into R and M. What would you rather be doing, right? But there's one question I always like to ask for motivation. Always ask this question. By the way, have you ever thought about retirement? Have you ever thought about retirement? How many of you want to retire? Who wants to retire? Right, look at that.
Today.
Everyone does, right? How soon do you want to retire?
Soon as possible.
1 year, ASAP, right? Yeah, see, that's your motivation, right? Now, here's my key question for you. Well, do you have plans on how to retire sooner? What are your plans? How can you retire in a year, CC? What are your plans? How about you, Yoon? What are your plans to retire as soon as possible? Okay. Some people don't have a plan, yes? And what if you could ask them, oh, by the way, if I could show you a way to help you retire sooner, would that be of interest to you? I'll say it again. It's a really great question to ask. If I could show you a way to retire sooner in 3 to 5 years, would that be of interest to you? No, not really. Okay, I'll go. Great. Yes, fantastic. Let me show you. You see, if we don't ask these questions, we'll never know. So I love form because form is a whole technique on asking specific questions. Every question has a purpose. We can gather information that we can use later on with that prospect. So building form.
This is very good. You have more, and sometimes I just don't know how to ask people questions.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This question you said is very good.
yeah, again,
When you want to retire.
you'll find that with those questions I gave to you, it's enough. Because once you ask a question, you start talking. Sometimes I get stuck at F. Now, whereabouts are you from? We talk like 20 minutes about that, right? I never rush, by the way. You know? Again, how many ears do we have? Two. How many mouths do we have? One. We should be listening twice the amount that we're talking. But some of us, we love to hear our own voices so much. Right? We're constantly talking. We're trying to sell. No, you gotta stop. Right? Talk and then listen. Okay? See this? Listen more, talk less. See what gets them excited. Okay? Now, that is really the biggest part I want to focus on was the like and trust. Because once you do this and you ask those questions, at some point in time, to me, the goal of like and trust is to get to know them better, but to find out how can we help them. And one question I like to ask, we should really kind of modify this maybe. We want to add an H somewhere. Okay, maybe FORHM. I don't know. What does H stand for, do you think? H. We should add the H word in here.
Health.
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 Yeah.
Health
Yeah.
and health.
Yes.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna modify this training from now on. We're gonna add an H in there, which is ask them, oh, by the way, how's your health doing? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Ask that question, right? How is your health doing since COVID? Right. So any issues with your health? Or when's the last time you did a checkup, for example, right? So, but typically, even without me asking that question, sometimes I come across it. They're rubbing their back, or they're sitting down, their knee looks tired, they look tired, they're a bit overweight, maybe they're losing their hair, right? So we're trying to gather all this information. So, of course, at that point in time, once I built like and trust, the steps are still the same in the end, right? And if I can find out what we call the itch. So the purpose of building like and trust, the purpose really is to find out what is their itch. What's itchy? Yeah. Everyone's different. It could be health. It could be money. It could be more time or more freedom. I find everyone has these wants. They want more health, more money, more time, and more freedom. Agree?
Yes.
Do all of you want more money, more time, more health, more freedom, better health? Yeah, we all do. So the real purpose in building the life you trust is to find their itch. And once you find their itch, now you can help them. Right? You can resolve that itch. Right? Does that make sense? But we don't know what someone wants until we ask all these questions. Okay. We had some new partners launching. I just saw on my phone. Henry was launching some new partners. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Walking out the taxi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's we don't, so actually I want to give Henry he's so hard. Last night, actually, when we were outside chatting by the pool, I asked, hey, you want to come join us? He's like, I'm doing a call with the New York team.
Wow.
That was last night. What time did you go to bed last night?
12 something.
Okay, that's when I went to bed. So yeah, right. So
Working hard.
that is working hard, right? Putting me to shame. Right. So anyhow, that's the purpose, right? So again, once you start to build these conversations, right? The key thing is, do you have yourself a list? Write that word down. List. L-I-S-T. My goodness, it scares me how I mean some people in this industry. I spent 20, 30 years and they still don't have a list. Why do we have to have a list, team? Why a list? A list of every single person you've ever spoken to. Why should we have a list? Now we have a training where you track every single person individually, but why have a list?
Your inventory. So your company can go back to even they don't.
Thank you. Question. Let me ask you this, Susie. You started what, 2 months ago, roughly?
Half a year.
Okay, half a year. Fine. Great. Half a year, right? Question for you. Did you keep track of every single person that you talked to? Thank you.
Yes.
You okay. If you don't track it, if you don't have a proper list, a proper system, thank you, you'll forget. You might have sold a bottle to someone that you already forgot about them. So a list is important because does every major business keep a list?
Okay, so my question is, how can I do that? Because it's so many, and maybe the first one to another.
I love this. Her question was, how do I keep this list? I'll forget.
Update.
That's why our CEO in September 15, 16, you need to come to Toronto because you will learn the CEO system that he taught me and Ifra and all of us how to properly, it's called the forensic networker. His training is called the what? Forensic networker. He has a very detailed system on how to keep this list. You will never, ever forget about anyone that you sold a product to, that you spoke to. You will know who should I be calling tomorrow, the next day, or the day after. Okay. Now that training itself is a whole day. So, and it's very rare to see our CEO doing that training. So please, September the 15th, 16th, and 17th, come to Toronto for that conference, okay? Forensic. So I have bad writing.
And even you have a Monday night, or Tuesday.
Tuesday nights, yeah, yeah.
I watched that.
Different topics, right? Yeah. Yeah. But this training on the conference, networker. Yeah, so I have bad writing, yeah. It's specific on the tracking system. Very important, right? And again, this is important for duplication. Because if you can't do it, right, how do you teach your team? Right? So Cece, for example, Cece, if you don't know how to track your list, how can you teach your team without a proper system? That's why this is very important, the forensic networker system.
Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, please.
So when I.
You want to come closer, Henry? You want to come closer? So that, because I'm afraid you're a bit too far. Yeah, come on the camera here, Henry. Everyone can see you. Welcome our LD3, Mr. Henry Schoen. Welcome to the call. Okay.
Hey, we just signed up somebody from Virax team and today in Atlanta. So wherever we go, we make it loud so people can join us and then they can probably get inspired. So what I do when I have a list, if I have somebody who is I talk to, I would write that name down on the contact list. And then I put in a tab on it, FOL. So related to FOL, the business or product. So when you search that button, you'll find all the people that you talk to or sold to with the FOL. So on the phone list, when you just search for that button, FOL, you will find all FOL related customers. Yeah, you won't forget. And then you write them down also at Atlanta. So this person is about FOL that I met in Atlanta. And then if they have some kind of a condition for eczema or something. So when I do that, when I search for any of these specific buttons, then it'll show up the whole list of people who had eczema, for example. And then when I search for somebody else, then I saw, oh, this lady, I haven't had a chance to talk to her for a long while. Let me give her a call because she's in the eczema category. And then she's in the Atlanta area, or she's in the Mississauga area that I'm going to next tomorrow afternoon. So you have these labels, you try to write more detail. So when they call, you kind of remember what you were talking to them about. And they would be amazed at like a good memory you have, but it's you are counting on the system to show you what they did, what you talked to. So just that how to maintain a contact list it's very important.
I think that's good to do. Again, I think the challenge though is that the only difference is with the forensic system. At least he's doing that, right? That's good already. With the system though, you'll know exactly who to call, like in sequence. So you never really miss someone. Yeah, because imagine as he has 10,000 contacts, 20,000 contacts. So yeah, just come to Toronto.
Yeah.
And you'll learn that system as well.
Yeah, because you will have also your system to track it. So come to Toronto to learn about how to do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a long story, right?
It's a long
training.
Yeah. So again, the CEO every Tuesday night does a topic from his training system every Tuesday night, right? At 9 p.m. Okay, so we got down to this part of the forum. And again, in that conversation, you'll talk to people. And again, if they tell you one of their itches, right, then you can bring up about the product or the business and going for coffee. So the one thing that I always like to do, by the way, is whenever I give out the brochures like this, if you give out a brochure, that's okay, but it's better to give out a brochure and get their contact information. Well, you can put your sticker on there, but will they call you? You don't know.
Yeah.
So it's better that you get their contact information. So what I always do is I tell them, oh, by the way, what I can also do is I can send to you some research studies to your WhatsApp. I can send you more testimonials to your WhatsApp or to your WeChat. They always say, sure. So make sure that before you hand out or after you hand out the brochure, that you ask them, oh, by the way, I can send to your WhatsApp a bunch of studies and stories. All right? Because you want to get their contact information. Yes? You give it out, it's okay, but better give it out and at least ask to give them the studies and the stories to the WhatsApp. Why do we want to do that? Why do you want their contact information?
Chance to contact them, otherwise you are
Yes,
negative.
yes.
Waiting for people to contact you.
It's the good F word.
Follow up, follow up.
Follow up. You can follow up. You know, there's more money lost in lack of follow-up than there is in new business. There's so much money lost in lack of follow-up. And I find that, you know, some people who join one company, build it and then quit and join another company, build it and then quit, join another company, those people
Yeah.
always jumping around. I find those people have the absolute worst follow-up. They don't think to call the same person more than once. They think it's a one-time deal. I call you, I call you, I call you, I call you, I call you. And when I call all of you, I'm done. Then money starts making, I join another company. I call you again, I call you again, I call you again. It's horrible.
Bad reputation.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And because they didn't learn the proper system. And my fear in opening every new market is, do people get the right training so they don't repeat the same mistakes over and over again? Right? And luckily we have amazing training that when we go build a market and we do our trainings, it lasts, keeps going. All right. So proper follow-up, right? And so again, that's why you want to always try to ask, can I send you the studies and some stories so that you have their contact information so that you can do a proper follow-up. All right. So I know that today we're talking a lot about, of course, again, about sales and how to sell retail. So really quickly, let's go and talk about some strategies. Because just now we talked a lot about selling when you're in person, right? One area that we want to focus on before we end up today's call is selling at trade shows. Trade shows or events are the absolute best ways to go and explode your business, right? So go to Google, type in Atlanta trade shows, Atlanta events. Go to all of them. You'll, how many of you here have ever thought that you don't know anyone or you don't know enough people? Or who do I talk to? Where do I go and find business? How many of you have ever had that question before? You have unlimited, you have millions. You can't even get through the millions of people, but they're all there, trade shows and events, okay? Because at a trade show, the whole day, you have your booth, right? Like yesterday, the display here. But let me teach you how to have a very effective trade show. We go to a trade show, let's say here is the walking path, right? People are walking here, okay? Right? You will have your table here, yes? And on your table, okay, you're going to have, you know, FOL everywhere, right? The bottles, okay? FOL, for example, right? In your booth, like you have a booth here, right? All you got to do is, you know, you print out all of the testimonials, the before and afters. We have it in our PowerPoint, right? And you just put it, you know, you print them out and you put them here. All your stories are on your, you know, the booth is here, the backdrop, just put the stories there. All the stories. So now, as people are walking by, all they're seeing behind you is what? Testimonials. weight loss, eczema, diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, migraines, headaches. You see all of it there. And literally, because I've seen trade shows where people are trying to go and grab people on the floor. This is called attraction marketing. People are walking, and if someone was losing their hair and they saw your hair stories, instantly they're like, oh, does this help with hair? See how much easier it is with all the stories in your backdrop? Or someone has, eczema and showing the eczema photo. Oh, does it help with eczema? In a few hours, you'll get so many contacts to follow up in the forensic network system. So again, what should we have? The same three things, right? You gotta have the brochures. You gotta have the bottles, and you gotta have the the same three things. Now imagine if your team every single 2 weeks, 3 weeks had a trade show, like Maria Baptiste and Mavis Tid in Toronto. They are at trade shows like almost like there's so often. Every 2 or 3 weeks, I see them at a new trade show. They're selling bottles, getting new customers, and those customers eventually become new partners. Right? Again, why is it important that you learn how to do this? Can you teach your teams how to build their teams?
Yes.
Well, how? Yeah, right? So to me, it's always so important that not only do you learn how to sell, or not sell, but really rather share the products, but that you can teach your team how to do the same thing. Otherwise, you are a one-person show. And you're gonna get tired. You're gonna burn out eventually. Yes, you have a question.
This past weekend, I was in Toronto.
Mhm.
We went to Tim and I in Toronto to this youth soccer tournament. And it's still going on until the 30th. I had to leave because I was studying here.
Yes.
Yesterday, they're posting, they're there doing exactly everything. Even the setup, beautifully done everything.
Oh,
They
nice.
saw me, they watched for 3 days, now they're doing it. So I
Amazing. See,
Yeah.
if you don't teach your teams these basic fundamentals, you're a one-man or one-woman show, or well, the LGBT, you're a one whatever show, right? Yeah, one-person show, right? Yeah, it's still a person, I think. I don't know. Okay, okay. But the whole point of it is you gotta learn that. So, so, excuse me. After that, I did want to just to check in to see any questions because it's 11:44, and I hope that all of you did enjoy today's training. Was it good?
Yeah.
Did you guys learn something new today? Okay. And let me just check online to, of course, see any questions that might have come in. Let me just check this here, Q&A. Okay, so from a question here, what do you share with your prospects after gathering their contact information? Great question. So I always love to share the studies, right? So if you don't have that, I'm going to show you guys here what that is. That's my first one. Look at that. So it's a collection of, because some people want to say, oh, do you have studies to show that it helps with all that stuff, right? Here's a collection of all the studies and what it does. So let me just grab this link here. Copy link. Okay, so okay, and put it back in the group chat. Okay, so here's the doc I'm talking about. And so to answer the question, if you found out that this prospect had issues with eczema, what do you think we should send to them along with the studies? If they had issues with, yeah, we should share testimonials of eczema, right? More and more testimonials. And when you follow up with that person a week from now, 2 weeks from now, send more eczema testimonials. So that's part of the second question, which was, what is your best technique to follow up after giving out the brochures? Again, if I knew, it's again, we want to find out what is their issue. Now, if you don't know what is their issue, just send any testimonial. Right? So literally, you want to keep track of every single person who is your prospect or your customer, and constantly be sending testimonials. Just say, hey, so-and-so, just want to share with you some of our latest testimonials. Please enjoy. Right? And I've had people that I shared on my Facebook. Like I always put testimonials on my Facebook whenever I see them. People like years of watching me, 3-4 years, even 5-10 years, might message me one day randomly and be like, oh, Renee, can I try a bottle of FOL? After 10 years of watching my posts on Facebook, right? Oh, Renee Liao. Yeah, RENELIAW. Yeah. So anyhow, I wanted to save some time for anyone else that had any more questions. And actually, if not, then I can turn the call back to our amazing host and to let you wrap up the call for today with some announcements. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Renee.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'm discombobulated. I have no words. Anybody can take over for me? This is amazing. 6 pages of notes. And I'm sure I am not the only one. I just hope now following this, actually, hi, Henry, as well. Thank you, Henry, for your contribution, your part segment today. And Renee, biggest thanks. I hope everybody here is ready to go out there and apply form. Build, like, and trust. After today, I think we're pretty pumped, so I can't wait. We'll see you out there. I will be sharing right now some slides with the announcements coming up. Give me one sec. All right. And there we go. So some little announcements here. Reminder, as always, Instagram flash sale drops on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time all summer. There's still time left at Opulence GL. Just make sure to check it out. A reminder, the new content dropped. New content is added to Opulence Social regularly. So please, do your best, like me, do my best to stay posted on Opulence Social. Now, okay, I love this cap. I actually today have a 4-hour drive after this afternoon. I have one of these caps in my car. Every stop I make on the way, pop on my cap, go grab my coffee, little break on the road. And there you go. Best case scenario, someone is gonna notice, look up Opulence. I love this cap and it has been restocked. Please take advantage of it. Wear it, flaunt your business. This promotion, the Build and Assist promotion, has now an end date on it, which is August 7th. Coming up soon, we still all have 1 week to do our best and try and get some free FOL bottles. So we still have time to take advantage of this. So why not? Ultimate deal, rewarded 6 free bottles of FOL with every Lifestyle Advisor Plus we launch, and to our partners. So to a total of 10. So that's amazing. You need extra stock? There you go. Let's work on promo 1, promo 2. And get this going. 1 more week to go. North America cruise. This is a nice goal to have in our business right now. Departing February 12th, 2024. If we must meet LD qualifications by December 11th, 2023, and away we go. Work hard, party hard on February 12th, 2016. However, there is a closer deadline. Is there not something, Renee, by September 30th?
Yes. So the ticket will go up after the 30th of September. So you want to book it as soon as possible for sure.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so there we go. So the early bird price, oh, that's correct. Up until September 30th, but there's still time. But we need to act fast and work hard before this hard party because it will sell out as well. Okay, now following today's training, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, I am so much more excited and cannot wait to be working with you guys at this training, which is like an extended training from the Forensic Networker about, like Renee said, the tracking system. So I'm looking forward to this so much more than before 10 a.m. this morning. Tours, testimonials, gala dinner, award, training. Let's all meet up there Friday the 15th to the 16th. The tickets are $199 at the moment until August 31st. Then it will go up. Freedom Conference, hosted by Ramin Mesgarlou, Sana Zuman. We have our top leaders, top earners, Renee Liao, Ifra Hassan, and Reza Mesgarlou. Let's go and get this training.
Also,
Yes.
yes, sorry, Sandra, just a reminder that for all new members who are new, you can still buy the early bird ticket, which was at $159, okay, in your first 30 days of launching your business. And for those who are existing members who did not buy it during the early bird timeframe, please contact me. I do have some early bird tickets at $159 available for those who did not buy them at the early bird time. Okay, thank you.
That's awesome, Renee. Thank you for that.
Oh, and also want to mention as well that on the 17th, so the Friday the 15th, Saturday the 16th, and then on Sunday the 17th, we do have a team taking a party bus to Niagara Falls and back. The bus leaves at 9 in the morning and comes back at 7 p.m. It's a full day of partying and having fun and seeing one of the 7 wonders of the world. And usually for you to drive there and back on gas alone will be $100 or so. But with us, the ticket for the party bus is only $50 there and back, Canadian dollars. Okay, so for the bus ticket, please do send your email money transfer to me or your Opulence currency to me. All right, thank you so much.
Awesome. Wow. I'm in, and I hope to see most of you there, okay? Let's have fun. We know we can do that. We can work hard, we can party hard. Let's do this. Monthly leadership cocktail. The next one due is Sunday, August the 13th at 10 a.m. If you're ready to take your leadership to the new heights, please join this Opulence Global Leadership Cocktail and gain the valuable industry insights, and it will propel your success. Reserve your seat today. Registration number, Zoom ID right here. Excuse me. Now, this Monday, so this will be my next hosting event, which I'm totally looking forward to every single one of them. But this one here, Monday, the product Crossfire at 2000, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Speaker Daniela Ferreira, Sales Development Manager. I cannot wait to host her. So it will be fashion, beauty, and health product questions and answered by nonetheless of a fashionista, Daniela. So please join us then as well. Can't wait to see you. And once again, thank you so much for attending. We had a lot of people on the call today, Renee. It was really exciting to see all these pop-ins and staying on. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. One last piece of advice for everybody. Please wake up tomorrow and be grateful. I love this lesson today.
Okay, well, thank you again, Sandra, for hosting as always. And until next time, we are, as always, we're one team, one dream to the billion. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. See you Monday. Bye-bye.